This episode of iFanboy is brought to you by Squarespace.com and Gamefly.com. Welcome to another episode of iFanboy. My name is Ron.
I'm Conor. We're in Chicago.
We're here for the inaugural C2E2 comic book convention.
It's exciting. We've got our first booth, the first ever iFanboy booth with our friends at Graphically. We have lots of things. Come have a button.
Rocking the booth. It's been a great time at the con. We talked to a ton of great creators. I'm really excited for this episode. Hope everybody enjoys it.
So what are we waiting around here for?
Yeah, let's go. So I'm here with JONTHAN Hickman. How you doing, sir?
Good, I'm good.
Excellent. Good to see you. It's been a while since we had you on the show back at Heroes Con a few years ago. I think back when you were at Image, right when Nightly News wrapped up.
Sure.
It's been an interesting trip since then, huh?
Yeah, I mean November was 3 years in the business, so it's been phenomenal actually.
Yeah.
Can't complain.
Excellent. So you've been at Marvel recently, and you kind of took over the helms of Fantastic Four. Which has been awesome. So you started off with a couple of short kind of story arcs, and then most recently we've had almost like one and done kind of stories. What is your kind of approach to the story structure for Fantastic Four? Because it's not the typical 5 to 7 issue story arc to make a trade, etc.
Well, we kicked it off with a 3-issue arc.
Yeah.
Well, I really felt like taking over FF that there were 2 things that we needed to accomplish. Well, really 3. Number 1 was we needed to kind of address what happened with Reed all through the last 3 years of Marvel stuff.
Right.
He was kind of a morally compromised character. Certainly that's not who he's been traditionally, and certainly that's not how I want to write him. And then the other thing that we wanted to do was in this arc-driven, for the trade-driven kind of storytelling that we do, I think one of the things that's gotten lost is is our ability to tell truly emotive stories, character building, one-issue stories, kind of like the stuff that I grew up reading. Like we didn't have the examples I always use are Kitty Pryde's bedtime stories, or A Day in the Life when Marv Wolfman would write the Teen Titans. Dating myself, but and I felt like we missed that, and I really believed that would really help. Do the Fantastic Four the way that it needs to be done. Certainly everybody that takes over the book says they're family first. But it's difficult to write a family book and family stories. And I'm obviously family in the wider sense of the word. I mean, not family friendly necessarily. It's difficult to do those when everything is essentially, regardless of how character-centric they are, they're still plot-driven, art-driven stories. And so that's one of the big things that we wanted to do. And then the final problem that I had coming on the book was everybody was using all the Rogues Gallery and all the Heroes Gallery of all the Fantastic Four characters. So you couldn't really use Namor or Doom. You couldn't use Galactus. Because of all the cosmic stuff, you couldn't use the Inhumans. And there was so much that it was very difficult to just stick them in there and fans not say, where's the continuity? I mean, you don't want to write for continuity, but there was so much going on with those characters that you kind of had to address it. And that's what this recent series of one-shots have been, reintroducing a way to bring back in the Inhumans that is unique to the Fantastic Four book. A way to bring back in Annihilus, a way to bring back in Galactus. All of that stuff is really not set up, because obviously it enriches the story. But it dovetails nicely into issue 579, which is kind of like my Fantastic Four manifesto, what I want to do with the book. Okay? And then rocketing out of that we bring all that back. All the Doom, Galactus, all the big stuff, all those Fantastic Four stories that you want to tell.
Yeah.
We get to bring all that back. Very long-winded answer, but
yeah,
you know.
and that's the thing, because it's like it's almost as if with these recent issues, I mean, you've ended them with the Dragnet style kind of breakdown of what happened after the story, and it almost feels like those could be more issues to continue those stories.
Well, the little bullet point stuff at the end is a plot point that gets wrapped up in the fourth one.
Yeah.
So some people will be happy about that.
Right.
But some of that is just extra world building, and some of that is very. You're going to see with a lot of that stuff, and I don't really throw stuff out to not use it.
Right.
So all of that matters, and all of it will come back up. But you know, we've got an end point we're getting to. Issue 600 is right around the corner. Then beyond issue 600, the 50th anniversary is right around the corner, and we have places we need to get to. And you know, if I make some choices like that at the beginning of the book, know that it's because there's better stuff that we'd rather spend our time on.
Yeah. You know, we've kind of fell in love with your work on Nightly News and Pax Romana. So are you planning to revisit those worlds or that kind of that style of books?
At some point, I will get back to Pax Romana because there's so much there.
Yeah.
But I'm going to do Plus, which I'm not sure the format that it's going to take, but it's 3 20-page stories drawn in 3 different styles. Everything's going to be by me.
Yeah.
And I'm very excited about it.
Yeah.
I'm extremely excited about it. And you know, you have to take a bath in those waters every now and then, or else I feel like your work is compromised. I really do, and that's why I'm so excited that my good friend Bendis has got a new creator-owned book coming out.
Yeah,
I'm so excited about that.
Yeah.
I know Matt Fraction's got some new news that's getting ready to hit. I'm so excited about that. A lot of my friends are my favorite writers, and I know that it's necessary for us to do this stuff, and it's a good time. It's a good time to be a fan. It's a good time to be a fan of other creators' work.
So you recently had a new book launch, S.H.I.E.L.D. #1, which blew a lot of people's minds because a lot of people, when you see S.H.I.E.L.D. with the apostrophe, with the dots, the abbreviation, you think Nick Fury, you think blue costumes, and you gave us something that was way out there, almost read not like a Marvel book. So what is the manifesto for S.H.I.E.L.D.?
It's a book about the human experience. It's about humanity over time. It's I'm very proud of it. It's one of my favorite things that I've written up to this date. It reads. I tell people it's kind of the perfect mix of my Marvel work and my indie work. It really is.
Yeah.
And I knew that the title was going to be confusing. It was just going to be S.H.I.E.L.D. with no dots.
Right.
But then we had lawyers.
Yep.
and they live their life in fear.
Yep.
And by that I mean they're worried about getting sued, which is their job.
Yep,
and they need to do their job.
Right, yep.
And so it's S.H.I.E.L.D. with the dots,
Yep.
the acronym. But it's okay. It ties into that a little bit. But really, it's something much broader and much bigger and certainly more expansive than a international police force.
Yeah.
Orchestrated by a dude with one eye. We love the dude with one eye, but it's more than that.
Yeah.
And if you're reading Fantastic Four, if you're reading Secret Warriors, there are bits, in those books, that if you read all my stuff, you'll see little gems. But if not, it reads perfectly fine standalone. And that's what this is built to be. It's not art-driven. It's a beginning, a middle, and an end.
Right.
We launched it as an ongoing. But when it ends, it ends.
Sure. Is there an end in mind? Is there something
absolutely.
that you
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Making it an ongoing is a editorial and marketing, sales and marketing compromise that we had to make that I'm perfectly content with and they're content with, and I think everybody else will be happy with too. The book is S.H.I.E.L.D. started as a pitch before it ever got to Marvel. It just happened that Nick Lowe was looking for a Leonardo da Vinci book. And that's what well, it's a Joe thing. It's Joe's like, what would be great?
Yeah.
And it comes from there. And it was going to be a sword book. It was going to be sword.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
And I turned in my pitch, and everybody went crazy about it.
Yeah.
Joe especially loved it, and the guys at Marvel West liked it a lot. So we had to get it out of the mutant territory because of rights and all that. And so it was best served as its own thing. But I've been thinking about this book for a while.
Okay.
And so a lot of it got folded into the Marvel Universe. So it really is, when I say it's like creator-owned meets Marvel, it really is that. And the Galileo stuff and the Galactus stuff, all that gets explained beautifully and symmetrically. All the continuity people are going to be very, very happy.
Well, yeah, everyone was freaking. Oh, you got Apocalypse in there. You had these little kind of bits of the Marvel history along with the real history.
I'm not sure if there's any real beef with Apocalypse besides he don't do no team ups, right? The Galactus stuff is very elegant.
Yeah.
The solution is very elegant. And look, I write Fantastic Four. Why would I chop Reed Richards' ball? Why would I take Reed Richards' biggest scalp from the beginning of Jack and Stan's run and say it doesn't matter? I would never do that.
I'm here with Dan DiDio, you're relatively new co-publisher of DC. How are you?
Good, thank you. Good.
So how is the new setup work? You guys only just established your new sort of executive team. So how's your job changed?
It's changed a little bit. Still involved in the operational part of the DC universe. Still involved in the creative aspect of it too. But now it's really expanded outward. So we're getting involved more with the Vertigo line and Wildstorm, and with working with Jim, we're working to try to identify new talent. Working with Geoff, we're really trying to identify new directions for the series and really to make our characters as strong as possible, as iconic as possible, to move them out into the other media areas of DC Entertainment.
So now that we've had almost a half a year, you've had Blackest Night end. Where's DC right now? How would you describe DC right now that you sort of reset the universe again? Well,
again, we're back at a point where, following a major event, you always want to go back and focus on the primary franchises and give them a chance to breathe and really establish themselves. You got Grant Morrison working on Batman, and he's really starting to bring back Bruce Wayne and really getting that story to move on to the next level. You've got Joe Straczynski coming on board, taking on the Superman franchise and Wonder Woman, which is a lot of fun and excitement there. I think James Robinson is doing some great stuff with Justice League, and you'll see some changes with Green Arrow coming out of Blackest Night. And then you have the events between Brightest Day and Generation Lost. You have basically another weekly book coming out, really dealing with so many of our second-level characters and really showing how they really should be first-rate on their own right.
So do you have a character or a book that people should be looking out for in the second half of the year that they might not think about right now?
Well, I'm going to keep the focus right now on Brightest Day and on Generation Lost. Those books are coming out. Both are coming out twice a month, and both have major storylines that play out through the year and feature so many of our strongest characters. You have the return of a lot of these Brightest Day returnees, and in Brightest Day in particular, you'll be following Martian Manhunter, Firestorm, Aquaman, Deadman, Hawkman and Hawkgirl, as well as others. And then with Generation Lost, we brought back Max Lord, so you see him mixing it up again in the DCU and becoming a major player again.
What is the biggest challenge in DC right now for you? Do you have a goal? You want to step out into the year? You want to accomplish something?
Oh yeah, well I'm always looking to see how we can expand our line, try to reach out to new audience, try to build strength in each one of our key franchises. That's why we put Joe Straczynski on Superman and Wonder Woman. We feel that's going to help both those franchises to achieve a much wider appeal. But our goal is to make sure that our primary characters and books, whether it's Flash or Green Lantern or any of those books, are as strong as possible. We still want to take risks like we do with Vertigo and Wildstorm to try new ideas, new concepts, and we want to continue to try to grow the business as much as we can.
All right, this episode of iFanboy is brought to you by GameFly. GameFly is the #1 place to get rent video games online.
They've got all kinds of console games. They got Wii games, they got PS3 games, they got Xbox games. Yep. You can put them in a queue. You rent a game, you bring it home, you keep it as long as you like.
They ship it right to you. You never pay for shipping. You never pay for late fees. And if you like the game, you can buy it, and they'll send you the manual and all the case and everything.
Buy on your queue. They send you the paperwork.
Exactly. So go to GameFly.com/iFanboy where you can sign up. We got a great offer for iFanboy viewers. Thank you to GameFly for sponsoring this episode. All right, I'm here in the Threadless booth with a row of all-stars. We got Art Baltazar, Cliff Chiang, Jill Thompson, and Lance from Threadless with a big announcement.
Right. First I want to say Threadless is a company that inspires awesomeness. So if you want to be awesome, get on our website, join up, and get involved. Submit designs, vote on designs. And an example of inspiring awesomeness is this new project we're launching. Basically what we're launching is an original storyline of comics across 4 t-shirts. I'm honored to present Jill Thompson, who has written the story, has curated the line, and brought us these artists.
Lance contacted me earlier in the year, and I was really, really proud to be asked, one, to make some art for a shirt, but also to kind of gather some of my friends together and create something really unique. Is a story that each shirt stands alone, where you wouldn't have to have the other shirts to understand what's going on. But when you put them all together, there's a storyline that starts in my shirt, goes to Tony Moore's shirt, then goes to Cliff's shirt, and ends up with Art's shirt. And we also, I wanted to bring together a group of artists whose styles were really diverse, but really cool and would fit in, with anybody's taste. So mine's more fantasy oriented, and some of this will come up and over the sleeve. Cool. There are also some other images that will come down on here, and then on the back, there'll be a whole other image, like a page turn. Yeah. So it's kind of like as you walk away, people will get to flip the page.
Cool.
So it's really cool. Threadless is really close to my house, so I ride my bike down to Bother Lance all the time. And brought over the art the other day, and they were really pleased to get it. Because I still do things old school. I don't bring over a JPEG or send over a JPEG.
Piece,
I bring
right?
the piece of art with me because that's how I know how to do it. Hopefully we'll be able to do more of these afterwards and keep these comic book T-shirts going that are different than what people regularly think of as a comic book T-shirt, where it's just a symbol or a character on there, but it's more like a piece of interactive art and an interactive story.
And the story goes from each shirt, so there's continuity. So what if I read a shirt out of order? They still stand on their own, or
They completely stand on their own. You don't. I mean,
right? Yeah. What is the process of drawing a comic story on a T-shirt? I mean, is it similar to what your normal comic process is, or?
It was cool. I mean, it was completely different in a lot of ways because we weren't doing panels and then on a page. This time we had a shirt, and you had to design a shirt that would have different subjects on it. So it was great. I was lucky enough to kind of do the superhero part of the story, so mine's kind of like a big splash page image, and and so it was a lot of fun.
Cool.
Yeah, it was almost like a movie poster where you got to incorporate all of the stuff on one. And I had a lot of words, so I had to carry through the bubbles so it leads your eye throughout the whole shirt. Yeah. But it was cool.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the old Indiana Jones movie posters and Star Wars and stuff. That's what I had in mind.
So San Diego is when the shirts come out, right?
Yes,
so at San Diego Comic-Con, Threadless will be there representing.
We'll be off-site. We're not going to be actually at the Comic-Con, but we'll be there.
We'll be in San Diego.
We're actually launching a tour this year that we're going to be traveling all over the United States, and that'll be one of our main stops on the tour, and we'll be throwing a party for the artists.
the Airstream trailer. Right?
Yeah, the Airstream trailer.
Yeah.
It'll be great. And so we're going to do a lot of promotion for this beforehand, and we want to really celebrate these artists and shine a light on them.
And I'm here with JT Krul. How you doing?
Doing great. How you doing?
Good, very good. So we talked on the iFanboy Don't Miss Audio podcast about Red Arrow and things like that. You're knee deep in the whole world of Green Arrow. Are you having fun? How's that been going?
It's great. I mean, the being able to do the Arsenal story is really meaningful. It's kind of a darker story, but he's going through a lot. But and kind of being able to kind of take Oliver Queen and Green Arrow and introduce him to this kind of next, the next stage of his life with everything going on in Star City, and it's with the relaunch in June. It's fantastic. I couldn't ask for a better opportunity to write that character.
Yeah, and recently the fall Green Arrow kind of wrapped up as we closed the door on the current series, getting ready for the new #1. It ended with, and for spoiler alert if you haven't read it, but ended with Green Arrow getting exiled from his city, from Star City. So how when you take that away from that character, the identity, what's the next step for Green Arrow, basically?
Well, actually, what we want to do in exiling from the city actually identifies him further into what he already is. I mean, we really are kind of playing up that kind of Robin Hood motif, if you will, about him being an outlaw and fighting for the people against crime and corruption and threats and dangers within the city. Yeah. So in a lot of ways, the fall of Green Arrow was actually the fall of Oliver Queen. What it really was about was stripping away the people in his life and taking Dinah away from him and having her leave him, and Roy going through what he's going through, and Conor. And even though the Justice League is still around, you can kind of tell that he's just not, he's going to kind of be doing his own thing. So, kind of having him from that standpoint, and then we give him the spoiler alert for Brightest Day, we give him a forest to have sprout up in the middle of Star City, really just kind of, okay, we're just, this is what it is, we're really kind of hammering it home.
Right, very cool. Yeah, and that was one thing I want to mention, the fact that Dinah left him. I know when they got married a couple of years ago, everyone's like, finally Green Arrow and Black Canary together, and now they're apart again. Was that something that, that was hard to do, because they're a beloved couple in the world?
Well, technically she married a clone first, so, I mean,
were they ever married?
Were they ever really married? I mean, how does that really work out? No, and it's the thing where it's funny because I mean, definitely, Dinah left him and, kind of left the ring behind. And again, it's about trying to let Ollie do his thing, and Dinah's going to be in Birds of Prey. But I mean, everything, it's funny because people are saying like, oh, I can't believe they broke up and blah, blah, blah. But it's almost like, in a way, some people think that death isn't final in comic books, but breaking up is.
Right, yeah.
And not to say that, they're not, they're definitely going to be doing their own thing. But I mean, they have quite a history together, and I would not be surprised if their paths cross again at some point. But right now, and with the relaunch and everything we're trying to do, it's just about getting Green Arrow back to that iconic status, and just kind of really identifying who he is and giving him a platform. And the Star City platform with the Forest is it's such a great, a great place for him, and make Star City matter too, and not just be, it's kind of like Seattle, but not really definitive in any shape or fashion. So, and it has the Brightest Day elements and the mysterious elements of the Brightest Day, and the Forest start playing out. It's really going to help, I think, just kind of elevate Ollie again to, the status which I think he deserves to be at, because he's definitely one of the main, one of the main heavies that did DC Universe, and to have him have that platform it's great. I'm happy to see it. Even if I wasn't writing it, I would just be excited to see him be able to have that platform.
Squarespace is one of the best places to set up a website online. If you want to build your blog, your portfolio, a photography website, Squarespace.com has all the tools you need. If you already had a site on WordPress or on Blogger and you want to import your posts and your comments, they've got this great site importer tool that makes it so easy. You don't need to know how to code or any of that stuff.
Squarespace is great for making your blog look professional, make it look like you have professional knowledge or tools. No, you just go in there, you drag it, you click and drag, and you're all set.
Drag and drop WYSIWYG interface is awesome. So go to squarespace.com, sign up for their free 14-day trial, use coupon code iFanboy, and check it out and make your website awesome.
Well, thanks to Squarespace.
So I'm here at Artist Alley with Skottie Young. How you doing, sir?
Good, man. How about yourself?
Doing very good. It's been years since we had you on the show, actually, and a lot has happened.
A lot, yes.
Congratulations, multi-Eisner nominated Skottie Young for The Wizard of Oz.
Thank you so much, man.
How does that feel?
It's awesome.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, people say, oh, did you have that on your to-do list? And I was like, no, because I would never get one of those, But yeah, to have multiple ones, let alone one, it's just amazing. It's very flattering.
Yeah. And it's the work that you did on Wizard of Oz has been, it's been not only one of the most original kind of artistic work I've seen, but accessible by kids.
Yeah.
And like I give it to my nieces, and they love it, and that sort of thing. Is that kind of gratifying, or?
Oh, it's one of the most gratifying things I think I've done in the 9 years I've been doing comic books. Yeah. Over the course of the weekend, since I've been doing the book, I'm getting emails, people coming by, girls dressed as Dorothy, and almost everybody says, I love it, but not only do I love it, my kid loves it. I'm reading it to my kid reads it, my wife reads it, my daughter likes this, which we all know, we don't hear my daughter and wife like anything that we like. So
exactly.
To hear that this is kind of breaking boundaries that I've never been a part of, it's really, really, really good. So, and hopefully that translates into a couple future generations of some comic book readers.
Well,
so.
a hot button for you over the years as we've been on podcasts and talk stuff like that is getting new readers into comics.
Yeah.
And I think that this is doing the job. I mean, it's in libraries and that
Absolutely,
sort of thing.
yeah. I think teachers really, really, really enjoy it. The schools are liking it. And it is. It's not just. We didn't make a book that said, hey, we're going to make a book for kids. We're just retelling a great classic story, and kids are gravitating to it and enjoying it.
Right.
So I think, if you just tell great stories for kids, they're gonna come to them.
Yeah, exactly. So The Wonderful Wizard of Oz is out in hardcover and collections and stuff like that, and you're working on the next series now, right? Yeah.
Marvelous Land of Oz. I'm a couple issues away from finishing that run.
Wow.
That'll be out in another hardcover, and then you may or may not see some more after that. So we'll see. Yeah.
Is it every now and then? You've been doing a lot of covers for Marvel. Is it nice to get away from the world of Oz to go back to superheroes?
It is nice to be able to. That was one of the things I tell them each year. I said, hey, you know what? I love doing the Oz stuff, and I'm going to be doing it for a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do enjoy being able to play around in the regular world a little bit. Yeah. Not only just to keep my name out in the other crowd that may not end up with Oz, but it does let me take a couple days of the week break, draw a little Spider-Man, draw a little Wolverine, something like that. Yeah. Then it makes me even that much more excited to get back to the Oz stuff. Just a nice little breather.
Yeah, exactly. So one of the things I want to talk to you about, actually, since we last talked, your style and the specific use of your art has really evolved into, you've created the Skottie Young kind of look.
Right.
Like, how are you doing that now in terms of like, or is it digital? How much, how have you changed your work while you're doing Oz and these covers?
I think more than anything, I just. I feel like I'm just drawing more naturally from the gut than I ever did, and really that just comes down to me. I think just classically cartooning.
Yeah.
I'm not trying overly hard to be one style or not. I'm just kind of drawing it, then I take a brush, dip it in the ink, and slap some ink around. And
it's almost like art now, right?
Yeah, it feels like I'm so artsy and like deep, But no, I mean, you start kind of studying classic illustrators, Schultz and Bill Watterson, and you kind of go back and look at some of that stuff, and it's really just classic cartooning where things look perfect at a quick glance, but when you start breaking it down, it's a little messy, it's a little broken up. And the great thing about that is that goes very quickly. You get a lot of speed, we can get books out on time, and then I have time to do stuff with covers like that. So really it's just letting go a little bit, relaxing, and just kind of letting whatever happens on the paper happen.
And have fun, right?
Yeah, man, that's always the number one. Yeah. It's too hard to work. If you don't have fun, you might as well get out, man.
Yeah. And I'm here with Geoff Johns. How you doing, sir?
Good, how are you?
Very good. Very good to see you.
You too.
So you having a good show here so far?
So far, so good, yeah.
Excellent. So Flash #1 came out this past Wednesday.
Yeah.
I loved it. It was the pick of the week at iFanboy.
Cool.
I noticed that it was a lot more bright and colorful than comics have been in the past couple of years. The Manipul's art and the colors kind of popped. The story was even more brighter. Is that your intention for the direction of the series, or?
Yeah, I mean, I always want to do the tone of adventure comics combined with Green Lantern.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a different book than everything else on the stands. Yeah. And the goal was to write something that if you don't know who the Flash is, you pick up Flash 1 and you're on board. It's pretty, I mean, for everything that Barry Allen's gone through, it's pretty accessible.
Yeah, no, I noticed it really is, but it's got nods to long-term fans like me, like there are little things like that.
Sure, all the rogues and everything else,
Exactly. So you, at the end of the book, you introduced the rogues,
Renegades.
the Renegades.
Yeah.
And also I noticed in Flash Secret Files in the background, John Fox was there in the background.
Yeah.
Are we going to have some 25th century future action going on?
Eventually you will.
Yeah?
Yeah, eventually you will. The Renegades are part of the RFTF, which is a Reverse Flash Task Force.
Okay.
Yeah, so you'll learn more about them as we go, yeah.
Very cool. And you've got the rogues kind of, the Manipul had a great page of the rogues. It was a very J.H. Williams kind of thing. Are the current rogues going to interact with those future rogues, or?
Maybe eventually.
Yeah? So, and the Flash Secret Files came out the week before, and that story that felt like a real kind of end cap to Rebirth. It almost felt like a bridge between end cap and the first issue. Did that get in Secret Files just because you didn't have anywhere to put it in, or?
No, it just was a story to tell that it just felt like a good place for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now that Barry's back, are you having fun kind of inserting him and Iris back into the DC universe and like trying to find where they fit?
Yeah, I mean, I love Iris. I love writing Iris. She's I was just describing her. She's kind of the spirit of the book, the spirit of Central City. Yeah. She's always on the move. She's always looking for that next thing. She's always getting a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
And I wanted to epitomize the book and make the book more about speed and about, how busy we are today and what it's like to move around and just focus on that. It's hurry up, and it's like hurry up. The whole Central City is all about hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. So I wanted to see, and ironically, the Flash is the one that slows down.
Right, just late, and that's sort of, I love them the little text messages, their icons, and things like that. So the technology, because Barry is a dated, they're seen as of a different time.
Yeah, well, if you're really busy, how do you talk to somebody?
Right,
you text them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the rest of the Flash family kind of got they're reestablished, and you've got Wally now, and Impulse and things like that. How does the Flash family fit into the greater Flash universe in the new Flash book?
Well, the new Flash book's going to be very, very much focused on Barry Allen for a while, and again, trying to lock down on accessibility and making sure that this is an entry-level book and also a book for people who've been reading comics for 20 years. And so I really wanted to focus on Barry and Iris and get in their characters and their relationship before I brought in the rest of the Flashes.
Right.
But the Kid Flash is in Teen Titans again. And you'll see the other Flashes, throughout the DC universe. Jay Garrick's and JSA, and Wally's actually I think he just appeared in Magog. So they'll all be around.
Right. The Speed Force is present, basically.
Speed Force is very present, and there are big plans for it ahead.
Yeah, excellent. So Blackest Day wrapped up. Blackest Night. Sorry, Brightest Day is on its way. So right around when Sinestro Corps War came out, we started hearing rumblings of your grand epic, and that was just Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi's coming up. Now Return of the Jedi's over.
Yeah.
How does it feel to have this long story they've been working on for so many years to be done?
Really, really happy with the response on it. I'm really happy how it turned out. Ivan Reis, look at that.
Yeah.
He's amazing. Doug Mackey on Green Lantern was amazing. So I'm excited about what we accomplished. I'm really proud of it, but I'm excited about the future too. We're week 4 now and shooting a Green Lantern movie. It looks awesome.
Is that crazy? Or?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's blowing my mind every day. And the plans we have Green Lantern, Green Lantern Corps, Green Lantern Emerald Warriors. You know, the Green Lantern universe is just getting bigger and bigger, and it's going to continue too.
Yeah, well, that was what I wanted to ask you, because now with Blackest Night, you successfully introduced all the multicolored Green Lantern Corps, and introduced a lot of characters into the universe. Yeah. How do they fit into the greater scheme of things now? Are they going to stick around?
Yeah, they're going to stick around. Yeah. I mean, it's very rare for a new character to take, let alone 4 or 5.
Right.
So they're sticking around, no problem.
They really took. I mean, people are really kind of connecting with the colors and the T-shirts and everywhere.
Yeah. So. It's exciting.
Yeah, very cool. And so now with Brightest Day, spinning out of Green Lantern, but focused not on Green Lantern characters. I mean, you've resurrected pretty much a large number of dead characters and that sort of thing successfully.
Yeah. Well, with Brightest Day, we want to do something completely different tonally from Blackest Night. Blackest Night's one thing, Brightest Day is something totally different, and also rotate the spotlight from the characters. The DC Universe isn't just about Green Lantern; it's about a lot of different characters. And so, bringing back Aquaman and Osiris and Hawkman and Hawkgirl and Maxwell Lord and Deadman, it just injects, I think, new stories, new life into the DC Universe.
Right, yeah. And I think it's interesting because DC's for so long has been identified with Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, but you've brought Green Lantern to the forefront. You're bringing Flash to the forefront, and these are all characters that we've known for years, but the general population, is seeing them more as icons of DC.
Yeah. Yeah, it's and this is all about reestablishing what the roles are in the DC Universe.
Right. Yeah. Very cool. So, and the other news, congratulations, you got a new gig.
Yeah.
You would think that after finishing your big epic of Green Lantern and things like that, you take a vacation, but
I don't take vacations.
You took more responsibility.
Yeah. I love my job. I love DC Comics too much to do that. Like, obviously, my love for these characters and this company and all the people I work with is there on the page, but this is super exciting.
Yeah. So what do you see as being in the executive position you're in? What do you see as a challenge for DC Comics in today's comics marketplace? I
think just producing the best books with the best characters, which we already have, and with the best talent and the best team. It's just a level of continuing to up our game. I think we continue to up our game every year, and I already know a lot about what we have coming down the pike. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, what are you most excited about coming up this year?
Can't even talk about it.
Excellent. C2E2, it's been a blast.
We had so much content, so many interviews, we had to do 2 shows. So come back next week for part 2. Yes. This is part 1. Part 2 is next week.
Couldn't fit it all into one show, but if you have any questions until then, shoot us an email, contact@ifanboy.com.
Or call our voicemail line, 888-FANBOYS, which is 326-2697.
Or you can follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/ifanboy, or head over to ifanboy.com, where we've got great writing, audio podcasts, our previous video episodes. It's all at ifanboy.com. That's all you need.
So we'll see you next week.